Hi everyone, Patrick Meninga here, spiritualriver.com. I want to talk to you today about teenagers and drug addiction. So, the new gateway drug these days is prescription medication, particularly painkillers. That in the past, the big gateway drug a long time ago was essentially alcohol, and then after that, the gateway drug was marijuana. And that's kind of shifted, and so what the research is showing is that today, the new gateway drug of choice is prescription painkillers for the most part. Kids and teenagers are getting these pills usually in the home from another family member who had a pain medication prescription and they stopped taking it and it's left around in the medicine cabinets, and teenagers get their hands on that and start using them recreationally. This has led to a bit of an epidemic in some areas that after the teenagers run out of these opiate pills, these opiate-based painkillers, that they turn to their peers and say, hey, how can I get more of that? And the peers introduce them to heroin because heroin is an opiate-based drug and it sort of fills those same receptors. And so this has become the new gateway drug of choice, and it's created a bit of an epidemic. Now, let's talk about treatment for teenagers. In the past, what they tried to do is they tried to take teens and plug them into the same model that they were using for adults at the time. And that model was 12-step based recovery, where you basically have people going to AA and NA meetings and in a group of their own peers trying to help each other to recover. So what they did back then is they took teenagers and they tried to form this same sort of group. And so they came up with NA and AA meetings that were made up of teenagers. They found that that didn't work. And the reason it didn't work is because what was happening is some of the teens in these groups were essentially still corrupt. They were still using, or they wanted to use, they weren't ready to get clean and sober. And what they found is that the corrupt teenagers were much better at persuading the non-corrupt teenagers to sort of come over to the dark side rather than the other way around. And so they found that it didn't really work to have this sort of peer-based recovery among younger people, kids and teens, because the bad apples sort of spoiled it for everyone. And they found that that's not a very effective form of treatment for teens and kids. So what they decided is that a family-based approach, where essentially you have family counseling and you're bringing the parents into it with the teenager and you're doing family sessions, that showed much better outcomes than sort of the 12-step peer-based model when it came to teenagers. Now, once that teen has grown up and they're an adult, that's no longer the case. And they found that 12-step based and peer-based recovery is more effective. So keep that in mind. If you have a teenager and you're struggling to get them the help that they need, that peer-based recovery and having them go to NA meetings for young people, that might not always be the best solution. And you might have to look to family interventions or family-based counseling in order to see the kind of results that you want.